3. My name is Jason Santiago, and this is an overdue ramble vlog. The vlog is my cyber range progress, um, which turns out to be taking over an entire room. It's the IoT room now, where my son will be doing his homework assignments and I will be doing programming in the IoT room. I will add pictures in the video after we record. Let's get started. So my talking points, we're going to start with next generation firewall. So I have two. I have the FortiGate, the FortiSwitch, but I have also a Palo Alto, I think that's how you pronounce it. But I have it, it's still in its wrapper. But until I master the FortiGate, the FortiSwitch, I also have a 40 access point that's not even configured, that's not even out of the box yet. These are end of life devices, meaning that you can get them cheap, um, but you can get acclimated with using FortiGate or the Forti Fabric or whatever that I want to say vSphere that the fabric that they call FortiGate. All right, let's move on. So let's take a look at my range. The way that I work on my range is even when I'm not working, I'll watch Amazon or I'll watch YouTube videos. Um, but I also keep busy too. The first thing I typically do is I will click my open dash icon that has a program written, and I typically will click it, and I changed it to open a different page. This is being hosted on a Raspberry Pi. Yes, 2025 is the correct date. This was last year, and then there's a 2024 dashboard, and I got a 2026 dashboard, which is I'll do a ramble video on later. But right now, this dashboard is going to go into the IoT lab where my son will be uploading his assignments. It's going to be uploaded just like Canvas works. He'll upload it. Um, you can upload a file. You could do a naming prefix, something like this, after underscore, and then when you upload it, it's going to go into the directory that it is programmed to go into. So I have an orchid collection. So I'm an orchid enthusiast. I collect orchids. A lot of my van has lost a lot of leaves while pursuing while actually finishing and getting my Linux Enterprise Administration certification, and also the Windows, and also the network support, network administration certifications at my local state college. They lost a lot of leaves. Why did they lose leaves? Well, because I didn't show them enough care. So, but that's another story. Open docs, these pop up. So when we hover over here, the way that the HTML works is it's just going to generate an image. We see Lockheed Martin Cyber Kill Chain, Cyber Range. So those are notes. I ended up getting a B in ethical hacking, and the reason why I got a B was mainly because the final exam I relied on AI to not the final exam, the midterm. I relied on AI to guide me through the midterm, which is not gonna work. It did not work. But I got a B because I went the B route for the final exam, and the B route for the final exam is being a script kiddie. But you know what? I wanted to work on my report because we still had to prepare a report. We had to do a nice report. Unfortunately, I cannot show it because, well, I'm 2 classes away from the degree. I'm taking the summer off, and I'm doing advanced cyber operations in the fall, and I can't do the other one because the other course, which is your capstone project, because the capstone project is to prepare you to go into a collegiate cyber defense capture the flag competition where you work in teams. So I'm basically pretty much done with the program. So all summer I'll be doing capture the flag challenges. So back to the Lockheed Martin cyber kill chain. After I submitted my B route final exam, um, because I was a script kiddie, I wanted to know why I got a B. The reason why I got a B and not an A is because they wanted you to take a different route, which would be like using your net exec and would I can't really say anything because I don't want to lose points or get thrown out of my program. They wanted you to do a different route. I went straight to what I saw that was open and exploited those vulnerabilities, and I got a B. So that B route actually saved me, and I got a B in ethical hacking as opposed to a C based on my midterm because I followed AI and really the was the I look back at it and laugh. It was really a simple midterm. But anyways, this is showing you a document. We can go over here after work, browse. This is showing what a customer service communications council, which is a program that I wrote in PowerShell. It it has another counterpart to it that is a slip map. But anyways, if I were to upload a file, let's say I chose a file and I save the file with the prefix of after. When I upload it, we're going to see it here. So, well, we might as well go ahead and test it. So let's just generate a file. I don't want you to see my big old mess. We can call this after. I'm going to do this. I'm going to go, I know you can't see this, but I'm going to open the file's path. And I'm going to proceed this favicon image. And I'm going to proceed it with after underscore. And then I'm going to get it. I'm going to go choose file. We should see after, there it is, underscore. I'm going to open it up and then I'm going to upload it. Yay! And then there's Captain Clip. Yay! It just seems like he's saying yay. Okay, success, back. Therefore, if I were to go into browse, we should see that file, right? Well, let's take a look. Browse, and there it is. Boom. So that's basically how that works. It's just moving the files where they need to be, which is just the first stage of automation. Um, so I'm clicking Captain Clip back here, and it's opening up um, the dashboard for the IoT subnet. It's opening up the dashboard, which is in the IoT room. Cue pictures of the IoT room where my son will be uploading assignments. The reason why we don't see the cybersecurity news feed, my recording, yes, we're at 8 minutes, that's fine. The reason why we don't see it is because it's being blocked by firewalls. And yes, that's 2025. So moving right along, let's not drift. Yes, the 40 gate, the 40 switch is configured. Now let's go ahead and change our port to quad 8. And just I want to show what I've been working on. And yes, these are showing as not secured because I have not worked with the certificate of Active Directory certificate authority on this particular project, but I have with several other projects. This is just another dash. I like tinkering. This is the type of stuff that I do when I am sitting at home watching YouTube or watching Amazon videos or Netflix. I got multiple screens, and well, this is the fun stuff. This is the stuff that you would do SSH into the Raspberry Pi and do minor fixes. Some of the fixes would be like touch talks. Well, we could fix the subnet. We can actually put the 10 dot network. The buttons will generate. I'm not going to wait for the buttons to generate, but this is on a loop. So I would be watching a movie or a video and or YouTube, and this is running on a loop behind me. And then while it's going to go through its loop, and it's going to constantly do what it just did now. and say, hey man, you want to get up in this? You can start writing code. This These still need to be programmed. So it's a new domain for one. It's a new firewall for one. It's a next generation firewall. We're not using the pfSense anymore. So yeah, so this would be something that you would program. We'll do a control U, and just so we could see. Um, yeah, so right here you would just go do your constant. You would map it out the way you want to. So let's go back out. We're going to go back out and show also now our open cheats dashboard. This program was written, um, it was written while I was taking the ethical hacking course. So that's why I have these cheats. All right. So the cheats are, it's not like you're cheating exam. These are cheats like in, hey, do you know the syntax to run Nmap? Um, Blah 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 blah. So, and then you can click that link and you can kind of like copy and paste it in whatever attack machine that you're using, and then move on and just correct the syntax, the domain name, whatever. Let's look at some of the tools. It's the same process. You can open it raw. We'll go back in. Um, Hydra, same thing. John the Ripper. Not, I am in a program, so these are tools that it's either you're going to learn them or you're going to fail your program. And I've forked out a lot of cash for this program. So links. So yeah, I'm moving forward. So links. This is just what I'll do here is I'm going to put these decryption links instead of using AI. I have links that were taught to us to do your encoding, decoding for the capture the flag challenge that I'm going to participate in. I'm going to put those links in there. Let's just keep moving on. This is my favorite part. This JavaScript was taken from a site online. Let's just put I'm just going to put my name, Jason, and let's do base 64 encoding. And all right, there it is. So we can just do something like this, copy it out. We can clear it out. If I were to decode that base 64 string, if I were to decode it, we should see Jason. Well, let's decode it. You know, there it is. Mira lo ahí. That's Spanish. So that's Jason. So that's the fun. That's fun stuff that you could do, or a cyber student can do while they're watching YouTube or doing what they like to do on their free time at home. So that's a little bit about that dash. This Captain Clips opens the dash, and that's the way that works. So let's move right along. Let me take a look at my notes. And this is a ramble video, so it's probably going to go long. So I showed the base 64 tools. In my recording, yeah, we're at 13 minutes. Let's go back to the assignment dash. I explained the file save process already, and I proved that it worked. Our client machine. So this is an enterprise environment. I queue images right here as well. I'm going to throw some images of that environment, meaning that it's turning from a lab to a real on-prem Active Directory environment that includes a certificate that includes the certificate authority. It includes an Exchange server. Um, it includes your typical cyber. It includes what is on-prem typically in a production environment. Um, Also, too, I have a couple other ranges. I have the Mimi's Cafe range, which I'll get into that later, and then I have another range. But let's go on in. So I'm going to go ahead and RDP, and I've already logged in. That we don't have to waste time on that. So this is a Windows 11 machine that is on. It is on the domain. So let's go ahead and open up PowerShell, and the way that these shares are done, it was taught I was taught how to configure these shares um, in my program. Let's just do an ls. Yep. So right here we see that there's a directory called MarinaDB, which is I'm going to get into in a little bit. We can even do something like this: path to the working directory. Yeah, it's the root of Z. So let's just do a who am I? Who am I? Boom. Dubs fort. That is the domain. Um, and your C service, which would be customer service, like customer service representative. So this is a machine on the domain. Let's see what else that we were going to do. We were going to show today what I worked on was the SSL over secure socket layer over transport layer security, the encryption that's involved to open up an HTTP site on the domain and not see that ugly, oh, this site is on, a warning, that ugly warning. We don't want to see that ugly warning. I didn't want to see it anymore, but I worked on it, and this is what it's going to look like. So I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. If I hit up arrow, we should see the command still in memory. And if not, there we go. So I'm saying, hey, I want to start. What is it you want to start, Jason? Well, I want to start a tool. It's called MS Edge, and it happens to be an executable file. And then with that tool, I want you to go to https let's go to Dubsgate. That is the machine name. This is the fully qualified domain name that lives on top of dubsfort.corp. Dubsfort is the domain .corp. It's a fully qualified domain name / Octothorpe. I like doing Octothorpe. It's like a monkey fist stop right there, meaning we don't want to go anywhere else. So let's go ahead and do that. Boom. Pops up, and we see we have HTTPS without it being blocked, without it saying, ooh, that's no good. So I'm going to just log in really quick here and just show that our VLANs are set up. Yep. And this took a little bit to get used to. It's a lot easier configuring it in the command line, which is right here. Dubs gate, which is the 40 gate, and then the switch. Even though in the images you're going to see the yellow amber light, which makes it look like the switch is got an issue going on, it doesn't. These are end of life devices. Um, they're end of life. That means that they're unpatched and they're not going to be patched. So what we're looking at right here is we're looking at the 40 gate. This is the gate. This is the next generation firewall, and you can access it online in the cloud, and you can configure it. You can watch it. It's got deep packet inspection. It's got a lot of bells and whistles. These end of life devices, I won't be able to use them all, but I can go in and configure VLANs, which is right now I'm working on the management VLAN. So if we were to open up the management VLAN, we could see that I have, I have some reservations. I'm doing static IP address to MAC address, um, depending on what environment you're working on in or their risk policy. Some people, systems administrator, they don't want to map IP address to IPs to MAC address. They want to do DHCP or whatever. That's up to them. But I just wanted to show you that it is configured. So I'm going to cancel out of that. And next would be to work on this client VLAN, because right now we are on the management VLAN. So the client VLAN, basically, we will just enable the firewall so it can communicate to some of the tools that are on VLAN 2 or VLAN 10. So that's basically it. So if you go to Wi-Fi switching controllers, um, the 40 switch ports, we could see that these ports are configured. And right now we're seeing mainly VLAN 10. But we can go in here and I can do a VLAN for my son. I can do a VLAN for Mimi's Cafe and a later date. But this is what I do when I come home from work. It's a tinker project, but this is enterprise routing, plain and simple. We don't see no ugly red anymore here. I mean, we're doing it, man. We're doing it. So let's get on out of there. So let's take a look at what else I'm going to showcase. We can go here. Let's say. So yep, I explained the file save process. We're going to stay on-prem this time, and I logged into. Yep. So let's show the share, and then I'm going to show a program that I wrote in PowerShell. So I'm going to log back in to a client that is on, right now the client's on a management VLAN, which would never happen. But for this video, just to showcase my progression, we are using we're using a client machine that's on the management subnet. So, all right, so let's get into some PowerShell. So one of the tools that I wrote in PowerShell is called the Customer Service Communications Council. So let's go ahead and run it with PowerShell. And so this right here, this warning, the reason why we're seeing that is mainly because the way that I I have what the way that I've done the way I created my shares, you're going to see this message. It's just the way that the shares are done. So we'll go ahead and open it. And then you're going to see this message as well. Yes, I know there's a way to configure it, but we're just going to keep it like that for now. So there it is. It's basically a WinForm app. I call it a council app. It's a WinForm app. You see we have a GUI. This is all PowerShell. So let's say I want to do a slip lookup. We're going to slip one, okay? You're going to see Jason last one. This is just me testing it out. We can do a tenant lookup. I'm just going to put the J. It'll search. So right now it's got 80 slips. It's set for 80, programmed for 80 slips. But I'm showing you an example of what comes up. And this is what I programmed in here. Just three tenants. Let's see here. We can go into the onboarding. So let's do a quick onboarding. Let's go ahead and jump on in 10, slip 10, and I'll do Jason. And my last name will be 10. Sure, why not? I'm going to blast through here just so I can get this part done for brevity. And we're just going to say today is practice, because that's what it is. It's practice. So we're going to save it. So Jason 10 would be a new tenant that's going to be moving into slip 10. We'll do save. And it's letting me know, hey, save updated for slip 10. Okay, great. So that means that if I did a slip lookup for Jason 10, we should see that tenant. Or I should type 10 in here. We should see Jason 10, right? Search, boom, Jason 10. And we could open this up nice and big. So this function, there's a function in the program that is programmed to do what's called a flex grid. And we could see that today is practice. We could see that what I just entered into the onboarding agreement form was completed. If I do a view slip index, it's going to show me the entire 80 slips and who's in there. And this is just my practice range. So these are just, arbitrary numbers. Um, we do see publicly identifiable information. So if this were to be ran on a shared workstation, we wouldn't want to see that. At least not staff, not just general staff. Your admins will want to see it if they want to do things with the program. But if it's to be ran in a shared workstation environment using least privilege, which it is right now, we want to encrypt that. Before we go into encrypting, I want to show that my task tracker to keep me on path and so I don't drift. But let's say I wanted to stop a task. Do I have any? There's no active task. Well, let's go ahead and create a task. Let's say demo. We'll just call it demo and I'll start the task. All right. So we should see it in stop task. Yep, slot 1 demo. And I only created 3 because I am a multitasker. I'm a multitasker. Am I recording? Yes, we are at what? 24. I'm a multitasker. We're going to wrap this up really quick with an encryption. I'm a multitasker and I do 3 things. And I try to wrap them up. So if I start the day 3 tasks, I want to wrap them up at the end of the day. So let's just say I wanted to stop demo. We could stop it. The task stopped successfully. And then we should see it in the daily summary. And look at it right there. Demo, and we stopped it. Boom. All of these buttons work. I'm not going to go through it. We'll go through here. I have a way to do a checksum on legal binding documents, meaning we're gonna hash it and we're gonna get a SHA-256 bit checksum just for file integrity. So we'll close that, and I could show it, but we're running time. I want to wrap this up. I want to show the encryption. So we'll go back in here. Oh, and this one was fun. We'll go ahead and run. This is what the staff would see. This is what the staff is going to see. And the staff are doing a lot of things. They're outside for one in the heat. So when you're going to do a onboarding or you're going to do a slip or somebody wants to do an overnight, it's it's a lot quicker to have a visual representation of something. So let's say somebody came in and they wanted to do an overnight. We see green means open. If I were to click this, it's occupied by Jason 23. If I click this, it's occupied by Jason last one. If I click this, it's off of, it goes on and on. We see yellow is an overnight, so if I click this, overnight paid one night and a nice timestamp. All right. Same thing here. These are follow-ups. These slips are set aside for the next event, but we could do something like this, highlight all three of them and just mark them open. Boomski, they're open. Can I mark these open? Let me try. Nope. That's programming like that. These are your permanent tenants. An admin should be programming or putting those into the system. This is mainly for somebody comes in last minute. They come in. I need a slip for overnight. Okay, boom. They're normally in a rush. A lot of people at the last minute, they're in a rush, so they expect you to be in the rush, which is not. It's not really a good idea to be rushing, but this program allows you to be rushing. Okay, slip 75. You could create a note. This is a shared note. We'll say just something like paid 3 nights. We'll say 3 nights. They paid 3 nights. The people paid 3 nights. Set overnight. Boomski. Boom. Now it's yellow. So let's see if it holds true. So if I were to open this up again, and in the production environment, you would not see this warning. You would not see this right here. Okay. This is ring fenced. It's You're not going to see that. All right, moving right along. So this is 75. There. This is a shared. I misspelled note. This is a shared note. Paid 3 nights. Customer service. Boom. It's 8:54, and the timestamps are what help. So if I were to go to 33, you're going to see notes on 33. If I were to go here, we're going to see publicly identifiable information. So I'm going to close it off by encrypting this. So this is where I left off in the project. There's got to be some manual interaction with this program. Everything can't be automated. It can be, but right now it's not. So right now, this program works in this directory. Okay, it uses it's idempotent in nature based on the fact that you could run um, this particular script that's called your builder. You could run the builder script. We can take a look at it. We can open it up in Notepad. Um, and if you were to run this script, you can run it over and over again. And if the file exists, it won't create it. It won't overwrite it. If it exists, it'll ignore it. And it'll build out the slips. It'll build out the .csv files that are inside the directory. Um, and same with all. Everything is programmed keeping in mind idempotency. So let's go back and let's encrypt those names. So I haven't had much practice using it here, but we're going to do it here. Why don't we do a left click, since in this directory we'll open up a terminal, and then we'll just do like an ls. I'm not going to do the logging one right now, but I will do this. Use me, because I renamed it today. Control C, Control V. So let's say I wanted to run this, and remember this is, or whoever wants to remember, these are standard user scripts. It's standard user. You're not going to get, it's a standard user script. So let's go ahead and just run this file to encrypt PII, publicly identifiable information. This is very important. So we're going to encrypt. Use me, so I'll go ahead and run it. Force these default messages. Boom. So right here, this is the program. It says the source file is not found. So part of the human in the loop is that the human is going to go in there and say, hey, I'm going to encrypt these names. So they're going to rename the slipmaster index.csv with an underscore. So let's go ahead and do that. So we'll go back into the working directory of the MariaDB project, which later on will go into an actual Maria database project. It'll go into it here. Um, and I'm going to be using arbitrary I'm just going to be making up fake names and just learning and growing and growing. But back to the slip master index that was letting us know in PowerShell is letting us know that you have to save it like this. We're saying that we want to encrypt only what needs to be encrypted in this file. Let's open it with um, Notepad just so you can see what we're going to encrypt. So it's going to go through in here. Normally this would be filled with publicly identifiable information. So we want to encrypt names, of course. We want to encrypt phone numbers. We want to encrypt email addresses. So basically that's what this script is going to do. So let's go back in here. We'll go in here, and I did what the script is telling me, saying, hey, the source file is not in there. So it's looking for underscore slipmaster index.csv. So I just renamed it. So I'm going to rerun it again, and it's going to do the out file slipmaster index.csv, and then it's going to go ahead and create a log in a logs directory. So we'll do up arrow again, and then I'm going to run it. We'll pull this up, enter it, and then we'll go ahead and do run. Boom. So we could see the encryption is letting me know, hey, we encrypted, and it's just going through the slips. And then it's letting me know, okay, encrypted CSV written, AES encryption, advanced encryption standard is complete, and it gives us a runtime and it's logged. It says success, production file secure. Let's go ahead and exit out of this terminal and we'll test it. We'll close on out of there. There's our key. Normally you wouldn't save it there, but this is I started this basically with a one-liner, so and now it's built up to this, so it'll keep growing. So let's take a look at the staff slipboard. The Customer Service Communications Council is the admin tool. The slipboard is is your general staff tool. So we're going to run with PowerShell. We're going to open it. We're going to proceed with these warnings that are only on my range because the way I've done my share. We're going to go ahead and run it. So that means JSON 1 or JSON 4, we shouldn't be able to read it. We should be able to click it and it's encrypted. Boom. So not only is it using AES encryption, 256-bit encryption, but I'm taking it and I'm going and I'm encoding it in base64. So that's why you see the equal sign there. Anybody that's into capture the flag would know that. So moving right along, well, let's take a look at the Customer Service Communications Council. I love saying council. I don't know. It's council, but whatever. We're going to run it and we should see encrypted names. So we'll go ahead and open it. We'll go ahead and do our run, enter. And that means, and let's just pull this. This can open up nice and big. That way there's no red, there's no errors in this. I built this from a one-liner from over the course of 3 months. So, and this is not vibe coding at all. This is straight PowerShell, importing